Elise Stefanik from New York, representative, head of the conference, the Republicans in the House. I can tell you the American people, at least those of us who are conservative and Republican, are very angry tonight, Congresswoman. I mean, furious. We're not stupid. We know it was just done. We know that they keep it up. We know that they have a two-track plan going on here where they're the Praetorian Guard for the Bidens. At the same time, they are an out-of-control Stalinist mob when it comes to Republicans and especially Trump. What do you want to tell your fellow Americans tonight?
I want to tell my fellow Americans that we will hold the line as House Republicans, and we will continue to follow the facts and follow this all the way to the top. I believe that the American people are smart. They know that Joe Biden is quote-unquote the big guy, and I believe these tens of millions of dollars lead straight to Joe Biden. We have found the 20-plus illegal LLCs related to multiple Biden family members. We've uncovered tens of millions of dollars flowing into at least a dozen Biden family members, tens of millions of those dollars while Joe Biden was vice president. And not only are we going to expose that and bring ultimately transparency, Mark, for the American people, but we're also going to make sure that we root out the rot in these agencies. I'm incredibly upset. We are losing our country before our very eyes, and the last 24 hours is just the epitome of what we've seen happen for the past few years, starting when President Trump upset the apple cart of the establishment, surprised everyone, and won in 2016. This goes back and is very much tied to the illegal Russia hoax. You remember Democrats smearing and their Trump derangement syndrome that they've had on day one. But I want to point out some dates that are important for your listeners. It's not just the past 24 hours that we're seeing the indictment. We saw in June when Congress got documents of Biden corruption. We saw the indictment on Mar-a-Lago from the Department of Justice. In July, the same thing, when we found more, or when Hunter Biden got his sweetheart plea deal, you saw again Jack Smith, a far-left radical prosecutor, add more indictments for President Trump. These are not coincidences. The fact that it happens the day after bombshell Biden corruption news, it's the mainstream media working and colluding with these government agencies to try to cover and cover up for the Biden family and for Joe Biden himself.
You're 100% correct. Do the Republicans as a group in the House of Representatives, are they almost to a man and woman united in this cause of getting to the bottom of this?
Yes, we're united in this cause to get to the bottom of this. And again, the oversight role is very important. It's constitutionally part of our responsibility as Congress. And I know it can be frustrating for the American people, but look at what we've uncovered. And we're going to uncover all of the facts, and we are going to make sure that all these questions are answered. And we've only done this in 8 months in the majority, Mark. We're going to continue doing that due diligence. And even though the FBI is required to turn over these documents, these witnesses under subpoena are required to show up, we're having to fight back. I mean, the DOJ threatened Devin Archer, the witness yesterday. They're threatening these whistleblowers on a day-to-day basis, and they refuse to turn over documents. We have to threaten them with contempt of Congress. So it is a back and forth every single day, but we are not going to be deterred. And I think I stand with all of my colleagues that they want the truth and they want accountability.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of the fact that lawyers who advised President Trump were indicted for giving an opinion that the government didn't agree with or the Democrat Party didn't agree with? They were indicted, including John Eastman. Chilling. What do you make of that?
It's chilling. It's fundamentally not who we are as a country. It's not according to our founding principles. And let's take a step back, Mark. You had Democrats for 4 years say that Donald Trump was an illegitimate president. You had mainstream Democrats, the vast majority of the Democrat Party, perpetrate the false, phony Russia hoax. You had Democrats in 2004, 2000, challenge electoral college votes of George W. Bush. So to now say that it's unacceptable for Republicans to talk about election security and election integrity and the importance of having safe and secure elections, it's fundamentally un-American, and it's so hypocritical. That's why the American people, I believe, are going to elect President Trump next November because they know we need to clean out the swamp.
But these states have to get their act together, particularly the Republican states and some of the swing states, with voter harvesting, early voting. All that has to be done if we're going to have a shot at this, no?
It does have to be done, and I'll tell you, from a blue state in New York, we came close to winning the gubernatorial race with a great candidate, Lee Zeldin, but look at what the Democrats are trying to do in New York. I know it's not a swing state at the presidential, but it's an example that when there's single-party Democrat rule, they're trying to cheat their way and redraw the congressional maps because they lost at the ballot box, so that now they want gerrymandered districts drawn by a Democrat legislature. They want to, trample over the decision of the courts. You're seeing trying to move towards universal mail-in ballots. You're seeing taxpayer-funded campaigns to try to prop up incumbents, Democrat incumbents. And that's what we're unfortunately seeing in these blue states. It is incredibly important that our state leaders stand up for election integrity and election security, that we clean the voter rolls to make sure they are actual legitimate legal votes. We need to have a chain of custody for any valid absentee ballot with signature verification. We need voter ID. These are common sense proposals that not just Republican voters agree with, but you talk to average Americans, they're registered Democrats, independents, they agree with it too because it's common sense.
I agree 100%, but the problem is in your state, the Democrat Party does not. It's an iron fist rule, and they're trying to take out a few of your Republican congressmen, aren't they?
They are, and the law is on our side. The New York Constitution is on our side. And remember, that case that was decided, it was a Democrat judge at the Court of Appeals who sided with the people of New York to have free and fair lines for free and fair elections and not have gerrymandered lines that were so egregiously drawn it would suppress the will of, New York voters. It wasn't a Republican judge. It was a Democrat judge at the highest level at the Court of Appeals. Now, what did Governor Kathy Hochul do, who in many ways is even worse than her corrupt criminal predecessor, Andrew Cuomo, and that takes a lot for me to say that, is she's become just a tool of the far left. She put in a radical judge to try to toss these lines because they can't win at the ballot box.
I want to thank you, Elise Stefanik. You've been outstanding as the number 3 Republican in the House, and we'll have you back. We look forward to it.
Thank you, Mark.